Ladies and gentlemen, when you turn 60, something shifts, not just in your body, but in the way the world looks at you, and more importantly, in the way you begin to look at yourself. The roles you once played, provider, parent, professional, start to fade or transform. And with that change comes a quiet question. What now? Many people assume that support in your later years will come from family, from children, from the structures you helped build. But life has a way of revealing a deeper truth. While love may remain, availability doesn't always follow. And that's when you discover something vital. Your most reliable support doesn't come from others. It comes from within. This is not a message of isolation. It's a call to power. Because the truth is, there are 6 unshakable pillars that will carry you farther, steadier, and stronger than any external promise. These are not just ideas. They are practices. They are lifelines. And if you build your life on them, your 60s and beyond won't be a slow decline into irrelevance. They'll become the most liberated, self-defined, and empowered years you've ever lived. Let's talk about what truly holds you up when the noise dies down, the house grows quiet, and the world expects you to step aside. These 6 pillars aren't just support, they are your foundation. Before we begin, if you have not subscribed to my channel yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any video. Pillar number 1, financial independence, your unshakable foundation. When you turn 60, the landscape of life changes in ways that no one fully prepares you for. One of the most crucial shifts is the realization that true stability doesn't come from relying on others, even family. It comes from mastering financial independence. This pillar becomes your unshakable foundation, the thing that holds you upright when other supports begin to waver. Financial independence is not just about money. It's about peace of mind, dignity, and the ability to live life on your terms, free from the silent burden of being a dependent. By 60, many people expect to lean on children or close relatives for help. But expectations often collide with reality. Children have their own lives, their own struggles, and increasingly, their own financial constraints. You begin to understand that while love remains, availability and resources may not. That's when the true power of financial self-reliance becomes clear. It's not just a good idea, it's essential. Having control over your finances means having control over your choices. It's the difference between living life cautiously and living it confidently. Mastering financial independence doesn't happen overnight. It begins with consistent saving, a habit too many people overlook until it's too late. The small, disciplined choices you make in your 30s, 40s, and 50s build the financial safety net you rely on in your 60s. But even if you start late, there is still power in intentional budgeting. Understanding where your money goes, planning for both needs and unexpected emergencies, and resisting the temptation to live beyond your means. These are the skills that transform uncertainty into security. Investment is often viewed as the golden key to retirement, but financial independence goes far beyond that. A well-balanced life portfolio includes more than stocks and real estate. It's about knowing how to manage risk, when to cut back, and when to say no. It's about having a plan, not just a dream, and adapting that plan when life throws its inevitable surprises. Financial independence also means understanding the emotional side of money, learning to separate needs from wants, understanding your triggers for spending, and replacing impulsive decisions with thoughtful ones. Consider the story of a woman who entered her 60s after decades of working as a school teacher. She never earned a large salary, but she consistently saved, lived modestly, and refused to accumulate debt. Now retired, she travels, donates to causes she believes in, and lives in a comfortable home, all without asking anyone for help. She is not wealthy by traditional standards, but she is rich in freedom. That's what financial independence gives you, the ability to choose your lifestyle, your pace, and your priorities without asking permission. Now contrast that with another reality. Someone who expected their children to support them, but instead finds themselves alone, struggling to make ends meet, cutting corners on health care, and relying on small handouts. The emotional toll of financial dependence is heavy. It erodes your confidence and dignity, and perhaps most painful of all, it forces you to silence your desires for fear of being a burden. When you turn 60, the luxury of time becomes more precious than ever. Financial independence buys you that time. It allows you to focus on what truly matters, your health, your passions, your peace of mind, without the stress of surviving on someone else's timeline or decisions. It's the gateway to aging with grace, purpose, and pride. So if you're approaching or already living through your 60s, remember this: the most reliable support doesn't come in the form of promises or potential inheritances. It comes from your own discipline, your own planning, and your own courage to face financial reality head-on. Family can love you, but they cannot always carry you. Only financial independence can do that, and it will, faithfully, if you've built it strong enough. Pillar number 2, robust health, the ultimate long-term investment. When you reach 60, one truth becomes undeniable. Health is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. It's not just about avoiding illness. It's about preserving your independence, your dignity, and your ability to enjoy the years ahead. Robust health is the ultimate long-term investment, one that pays you back daily in energy, clarity, and freedom. You quickly realize that without health, everything else, money, relationships, even time, becomes harder to enjoy. That's why prioritizing your physical and mental well-being is no longer optional. It's non-negotiable. Proactive health management is the cornerstone of aging well. You can't afford to wait for symptoms or diagnoses to dictate your lifestyle. By 60, your body has carried you for decades. It has endured stress, poor sleep, questionable meals, and maybe long stretches of neglect. But it's also resilient. It responds quickly to care. Proactively managing your health means regular checkups, screenings, and knowing your numbers: blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, weight. But more than medical visits, it means listening to your body, noticing the quiet signs before they become loud alarms. Mental health deserves just as much attention. This is the stage of life when people often face transitions that can feel overwhelming. Retirement, empty nests, the loss of peers, shifting identities. Ignoring mental health is a silent risk. Prioritizing emotional wellness means staying connected, cultivating purpose, and sometimes seeking professional support when needed. Just like you'd repair a broken bone, tending to your mental health is a form of respect for yourself. What surprises many people is that the most powerful tools for vitality are not complex. They're simple habits, practiced consistently. Nutrition is one of your greatest allies. Whole foods, rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals, nourish not just your body but your brain. Reducing processed foods, excessive sugar, and empty calories becomes essential, not for vanity but for energy, inflammation control, and longevity. Hydration alone can improve focus, digestion, and joint health. Movement is another pillar. Not extreme workouts or grueling gym sessions, just consistent, intentional activity. A daily walk, light strength training, stretching. These are the things that keep you mobile, improve circulation, support bone density, and release the chemicals that boost your mood. Movement is medicine, and it's within reach, regardless of your age or fitness level. Sleep, too, transforms everything. It's not just about feeling rested. It's when your body repairs, your brain organizes, and your immune system recharges. Developing healthy sleep routines, consistent bedtimes, screen-free wind downs, a cool and quiet environment, can radically change how you function and feel. But the most profound connection that often goes unnoticed is the link between health and autonomy. When your body and mind are strong, you don't rely on others to live your life. You don't need help getting up the stairs, driving to appointments, managing daily tasks, or making decisions. Independence is not just a practical advantage, it's an emotional shield. It protects your self-worth and your sense of control. Every small act of self-care is a vote for your future freedom. You also inspire others when you take your health seriously. You become the example, proof that aging doesn't have to mean decline. You teach your children and grandchildren that self-respect starts with how you treat your body and mind. You gain the strength to show up for others, not out of obligation, but from overflow. At 60 and beyond, you may not be able to reverse the clock, but you absolutely can slow its effects. Health isn't about living forever. It's about living well for as long as you're here. And that quality of life depends far more on your daily choices than on genetics or fate. So eat with care, move with intention, sleep with discipline, and guard your mental peace fiercely. In doing so, you're not just avoiding disease. You're investing in freedom, vitality, and the power to live life fully on your own terms. Pillar number 3, active social connections, your chosen community. At 60, life begins to take on a quieter rhythm. Children grow up, careers wind down, and social circles may start to shrink. For many, this phase reveals a startling truth. Loneliness can creep in quickly if you don't take conscious steps to maintain and build social connections. That's why active social engagement becomes one of the most vital pillars of support as you age. And unlike family, which you're born into, this community is chosen. These are the people you invite into your life, the relationships you cultivate with care, and the network that becomes your emotional safety net. Relying solely on immediate family for social fulfillment often leads to disappointment. Your children may live far away, caught up in their own busy lives. Grandchildren may visit occasionally, but those moments, while beautiful, are fleeting. It becomes clear that your happiness and sense of belonging must be rooted in something more stable and self-driven. That's where building a diverse network of friends, acquaintances, and support systems becomes essential. These connections form a web of belonging that doesn't collapse if one thread breaks. The key is to be intentional. Social connection doesn't just happen, it has to be nurtured. Start by identifying your interests and passions. Whether it's gardening, reading, hiking, music, or art, there are communities built around these joys. Clubs, classes, and local groups are powerful entry points to meet others who share your enthusiasm. These interactions naturally create bonds, and over time, some of them evolve into meaningful friendships. The beauty of these connections is that they're based on choice and mutual interests, not obligation. Volunteering is another deeply rewarding way to stay socially active. It brings purpose and perspective, and it introduces you to people who care about something bigger than themselves. Whether you're helping in a library, mentoring youth, assisting at a food bank, or organizing community events, these acts of service foster a sense of value and connection. You're not just giving your time. You're receiving fulfillment, recognition, and a feeling of belonging in return. Shared interests also offer a unique kind of intimacy. When you engage with people who understand your passions, conversations go deeper, laughter comes easier, and a sense of home emerges in unexpected places. These shared moments build the emotional scaffolding that supports you during difficult times, grief, illness, or major transitions. When family is unavailable or unable to help, your chosen community steps in. But to truly thrive, these relationships must be reciprocal. It's not just about having someone to call when you're feeling down. It's about being that person for someone else too. Giving and receiving support deepens bonds and creates a sense of equality in relationships. It's easy to fall into the trap of isolation by thinking, no one calls me, or everyone is busy. But connection requires initiative. Reaching out, showing up, and making time for others is how you build a social circle that lasts. It's important to let go of outdated ideas that friendship is something for the young. In truth, the friendships you make later in life can be the most meaningful, because they're built on maturity, shared experiences, and emotional honesty. These are people who understand loss, who face change, and who know the value of companionship. Having an active social life at 60 isn't about filling time. It's about enriching your days with laughter, empathy, and a sense of being seen and understood. It combats isolation, strengthens mental health, and reminds you that life still holds joyful surprises. You get to choose your tribe, the people who support your dreams, understand your struggles, and make your days brighter. And in that chosen community, you'll find a kind of support that is consistent, fulfilling, and deeply human. Pillar number 4, continuous learning, adaptation, staying relevant and engaged. Turning 50 doesn't mean slowing down mentally. It means shifting gears and engaging your mind in new, purposeful ways. One of the most powerful ways to stay sharp, confident, and fulfilled is through continuous learning and adaptation. This pillar isn't just about taking classes or reading books. It's about adopting a mindset that values growth, curiosity, and openness. When you commit to lifelong learning, you don't just preserve your relevance. You deepen your connection to the world around you and enrich your own sense of identity. Mental stagnation is one of the greatest threats to aging well. It's easy to fall into routines, to assume you've learned all you need to know, or to believe that change no longer applies to you. But that kind of thinking can quietly erode your confidence and lead to feelings of irrelevance. Continuous learning, on the other hand, keeps your mind agile. It challenges assumptions, introduces fresh ideas, and keeps your cognitive skills engaged. Whether it's learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument, or exploring a subject you've always been curious about, the act of learning rewires your brain in powerful ways. It helps ward off cognitive decline, boosts memory, and even enhances emotional resilience. In today's world, adaptation also means staying connected to the rapidly evolving landscape of technology. For many people over 60, this can feel intimidating. But embracing technology isn't about becoming a tech expert. It's about refusing to be excluded from conversations, opportunities, and conveniences that define modern life. Learning to navigate smartphones, video calls, online banking, and social media allows you to maintain communication with loved ones, access important services, and participate in the broader world. More importantly, it builds confidence and a sense of autonomy. You no longer have to wait for someone else to do things for you. You can do them yourself, on your own terms. The act of learning new technologies also serves a deeper purpose. It shows you that you're still capable of evolving. That sense of capability is invaluable. It counters the damaging stereotype that older adults are set in their ways, or too old to change. When you show up to learn something new, especially something unfamiliar, you remind yourself that age is not a barrier to growth. You prove, to yourself and others, that relevance doesn't have an expiration date. Curiosity, too, plays a critical role. When you allow yourself to be curious, you invite joy into your life. Learning becomes less of a task and more of a pleasure. It might mean exploring new cultures, taking online courses, traveling to unfamiliar places, joining discussion groups, or reading about subjects you never had time for before. These pursuits don't just feed the brain, they feed the soul. They make your days interesting. They give you something to look forward to. They offer purpose. This continuous engagement also helps build bridges across generations. When you're learning, growing, and adapting, you have more to contribute in conversations with younger people. You can share your wisdom while also appreciating their insights. Instead of becoming someone who clings to the past, you become someone who straddles eras, rooted in experience but open to evolution. Most importantly, continuous learning and adaptation give you agency. They keep you from becoming a passive observer in your own life. They empower you to choose your direction, update your understanding, and participate actively in a world that is always in motion. At 60, you've earned the right to slow down, but you also deserve the rewards that come from leaning in, staying engaged, staying curious, and staying connected. Your brain is still a powerful tool. Feed it, challenge it, surprise it. Because in doing so, you keep your spirit youthful, your mind sharp, and your life deeply, vibrantly alive. Pillar number 5, purpose and meaning, your internal compass. By the time you reach 60, many of the roles that once defined you begin to fade. The job title you carried for decades may no longer apply. The daily responsibilities of raising a family might be behind you. What remains is a quiet, persistent question. What now? This is where the 5th pillar, purpose and meaning, emerges as your internal compass. It's not about revisiting the past. It's about asking who you are now and what will guide you forward. Because without a sense of purpose, even the most comfortable life can feel hollow. But with it, every day has direction, no matter your age. Purpose in your 60s doesn't have to look like it did in your 30s. It's no longer tied to professional success or the daily hustle. It's deeper now, more personal. It's the feeling of being useful, of waking up and knowing there's something you care about, something that gives your life shape. For some, this means discovering a new mission. For others, it means rekindling a passion that was buried under the weight of responsibilities. Either way, the search for meaning becomes a transformative journey, one that defines the quality of your later years. There's immense freedom in this stage of life. You're no longer proving yourself to anyone. That freedom allows you to contribute to something larger than yourself, not because you have to, but because you want to. Volunteerism is a powerful outlet. Whether it's helping at a shelter, reading to children at a local school, or supporting environmental causes, giving your time reminds you that you still have value to offer. Your experiences, your empathy, your wisdom, they are needed. Mentorship, too, is a profound way to find purpose. Younger generations are often searching for guidance, perspective, and support. You have the opportunity to pass down what you've learned, not just knowledge, but also the lessons life has taught you. Being a mentor connects you to others in a meaningful, personal way. It reinforces your place in the broader story of humanity, one generation lifting the next. Creative pursuits are another powerful path to purpose. Whether it's painting, writing, music, woodworking, or crafting, creating something brings you into the present moment. It quiets the noise of doubt and invites a kind of joy that's hard to describe. Creativity is not about perfection. It's about expression. And when you engage in it, you give voice to parts of yourself that may have been dormant for years. Purpose also strengthens you in unseen ways. When life brings challenges, health scares, losses, unexpected changes, a strong sense of why becomes your anchor. It doesn't eliminate the pain, but it gives you something to hold on to. Purpose breeds resilience. It allows you to endure hardship without losing your sense of self. It reminds you that there's still more to be done, still more to experience, still more to give. What's beautiful about purpose in your 60s is that it's entirely yours. You're not chasing approval. You're not fulfilling expectations. You're following your heart. And in doing so, you create a life that feels authentic and deeply rewarding. Your purpose doesn't have to be grand or public. It can be quiet, local, and personal. It could be nurturing a garden, being a reliable friend, or simply showing up with kindness wherever you go. The most fulfilled people at this stage of life are those who understand that meaning isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you choose. It's something you build day by day through intention and attention. And once you find it, or create it, it becomes your true support. Family may drift. Roles may change. But your sense of purpose will carry you forward, filling your days with meaning and your heart with peace. Pillar number 6, personal resilience and self-reliance, your inner strength. As you move into your 60s, one of the greatest truths becomes clear. Life will continue to bring both joy and challenge. No matter how much you prepare, you cannot control everything. Health may falter. People may disappoint, plans may shift. But there is one thing you can always count on: your inner strength. This is where personal resilience and self-reliance step in as your final and perhaps most essential pillar. It's not about being stoic or unaffected. It's about learning how to face whatever comes with clarity, calm, and quiet determination. It's the strength that comes from within and sustains you when everything else is uncertain. Personal resilience means developing the mental fortitude to navigate life's twists without breaking. It's built over time, often through adversity, and becomes more valuable with age. By 60, you've likely experienced loss, disappointment, and hardship. But you've also survived. You've adapted, learned, and grown. That accumulated strength is your foundation. And it must be nurtured through self-awareness, reflection, and the decision to keep moving forward. Even when the path isn't clear, this strength doesn't mean you go it alone. It means you learn to trust yourself. You become the person you can rely on, not out of pride, but out of necessity. When others are unavailable or unable to help, your own resilience becomes your shield. You stop waiting for someone to save you or fix things. You become your own anchor. This mindset doesn't isolate you. It empowers you. Emotional intelligence is a crucial part of this process. At this stage, managing expectations becomes an act of self-preservation. You begin to see that not everyone will meet your needs, and that's okay. You let go of resentment. You stop expecting the world to validate you, and instead find contentment from within. You learn to respond rather than react, to listen to your emotions without being ruled by them. This inner stability brings peace. It frees you from the emotional roller coasters that once drained you. You don't have to win every argument, control every outcome, or fix every situation. You learn when to act and when to release. That's emotional maturity, and it's a quiet superpower. Resilience also means knowing how to bounce back, not just endure, but grow from difficult moments. Whether it's health issues, the loss of a partner, or financial setbacks, resilience helps you find meaning through the struggle. You ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why me? That shift in thinking transforms pain into progress. It turns obstacles into opportunities to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate. What makes this final pillar so powerful is that it integrates all the others. Financial independence gives you the resources to stand on your own. Robust health provides the energy to recover. Active social connections remind you that you're not alone. Continuous learning keeps your mind flexible. Purpose gives your life direction. But it is personal resilience and self-reliance that allow you to hold all of these pieces together, to keep going even when one falters. So how do you build it? Through daily practice. Speak kindly to yourself. Make time for reflection. Set boundaries without guilt. Surround yourself with people who respect your growth. Prioritize habits that nourish your body and your mind. Learn to sit with discomfort without rushing to escape it. Celebrate small victories. And above all, remind yourself that you've already come through so much. And that strength is still within you. Your later years can be your most empowering if you anchor yourself in this pillar. Not because life becomes easier, but because you become stronger. You realize that while you may not control the winds, you can always adjust your sails. And with these 6 pillars, especially the one rooted deep within, you're not just surviving the journey ahead. You're shaping it on your terms with courage, clarity, and quiet confidence. So here you are, 60 and standing at a threshold that demands not retreat, but reinvention. The world may whisper that your best days are behind you, but these 6 pillars shout something different. They remind you that strength isn't something you lose with age. It's something you claim, refine, and own more fully than ever before. Financial independence gives you freedom. Robust health gives you energy. Social connections give you belonging. Continuous learning gives you relevance. Purpose gives you direction. And personal resilience gives you unshakable power from within. Together, they form a life that isn't built on dependency, regret, or waiting. It's built on choice, clarity, and courage. You are not at the end. You are at the beginning of a chapter you get to write entirely for yourself. One grounded in self-reliance, defined by your values, and fueled by a quiet fire that refuses to be dimmed by time. Build your life on these 6 pillars, and you won't just age, you'll rise.